Hello, my lovely viewers. Happy New Year to you all. And how did you celebrate your Christmas festivity? For me, it was fun and also stressful due to the many events. That is why today I want us all to read this book because I know you would also be stressed as well, to lighten our hearts and also to clear our stress. We are still reading the book Navigating the Heart. Who is Dragging You? Written by Dr. Oksupak. And Dr. Oksupak has recognized that knowledge and skill-based education could not bring true change to our youth. So for the past 20 years, he has administered Christianity-based mindset education, which will help our youth. The dream of Reverend Oksupak is to make the youth go to sleep with happiness and also to wake up with bright hope, because we can all attest to the fact that most of our youth go to sleep in pain and wake up with despair. So to fulfill this dream, Dr. Oksupak has written this book for all of us to be able to have a very positive impact in our lives. Today, we are moving on to the second chapter of the book, and it talks about despair. So, chapter 2 talks about despair. Have you learned self-control from a young age? There is no end to a man's desire, but there are limits to a person's ability. Problems arise when our desires exceed our abilities. Chronic complaints about desires ruin life and also make everything measurable. That is why training for self-control from a young age is very necessary. The first story in this chapter is about a leper who, for the first time in his life, went to a Chinese restaurant and had jaja noodles. A long time ago, I once held a conference at the Changmun leper colony. At that time, we did not have a sedan, so I would take the bus from Daegu to go to Masan. And then I had to take the bus once again from Masan to go to Changmun. The day of the conference, I got on the bus in Daegu, and there were a few strange-looking men sitting on the bus. I looked closely at them, and they were lepers. I spoke to them first. "Hello, where are you going?" "We are going to church conference," one of them replied. "Which church conference are you going to?" "It is the Changmun Ijo Church Conference." The three lepers were going to the conference where I was the main speaker. And in order to go there, they had left Hangdong from early in the morning, and we had gotten on the same bus from Daegu. "And who is the main speaker for that conference?" I asked. "I heard it is Pastor Oksupak," they replied. "Have you ever seen Pastor Oksupak?" "No, not yet." "Don't lie." "No, we haven't." "I think you are lying." "No, we've really never seen him." At that time, when I told them that I was Pastor Oksupak, they were so shocked that they almost fainted. By the time we arrived in Masan, it was already lunchtime. I asked them, "Why don't we eat before we go?" At that time, it was most convenient to go to Chinese restaurants, so I stepped into a Chinese restaurant first. but the three that were following me hesitated to go in. They were hesitant because they were afraid of entering the restaurant, and they were embarrassed because they were lepers. I realized that, and I called them in with an even louder voice. Hurry up and come in. What are you doing? The three of them hesitated, but they came in and sat on the chairs. Excuse me, 4 double-sized bowls of Janjan noodles, I ordered. The young man who took the order looked at them and knew that there was something strange about the three of them. But even so, he silently brought the bowls of Janjan noodles. Hey, young man, bring me some pickled radish and some more onion, please. That day, we deliciously enjoyed the Janjan noodles. Then we once again got on the bus to go to Changmu, and the three of them appeared to be so happy. Pastor, thank you very much. Because of you, I ate Janjan noodles for the first time in my life. Lepers were not allowed to go to restaurants, but they were saying that because of me. Lepers were not allowed to go into restaurants, but they were saying that because of me, they were able to go in. If I tell my wife about this, she probably won't be able to sleep, one of them said. One of them also said, today is a day that I would never forget for the rest of my life. Back then, I would often meet lepers and preach the word of God to them. I also spoke with them often. I saw that they lived with so much difficulty because of their leprosy. Among them, there were many who were very diligent and many who were well educated. Yet, they had to live a life isolated from society. Once in a while, they would have to go to the city for some business, and they were very careful not to reveal themselves. That is why these lepers were so touched to have a bowl of Janjan noodles. The three of them were so excited about eating the Janjan noodles that they asked, Pastor, there are those of us who have never been to the public bathhouse. What does the public bathhouse look like? And they asked me questions about this and that. They were amazed by anything and overwhelmed by everything. It was because their hearts were low and humble. A temp cleaner and his son from a village in Seoul. This is the next story. When a person lives humble in his heart, a joyful and thankful life is possible. For example, suppose I am a person who is rated at about 100, but I think of myself to be 200 or 300. Since there is such a difference in ratings, when conflicts or situations come up, I will always think that it is because other people are slighting me or despising me. That one thought will cause me to always be dissatisfied with the actions of other people who are dealing with me. On the other hand, if I am a person who is rated at 100, but I think of myself to be only 30 or 40, then I will always feel thankful and overwhelmed by the actions of the people around me who are treating me so well. Once you humble your heart, Just as water flows from a higher place to a lower place, the hearts of the people around you start to flow into you, causing you to always have thoughts of thankfulness. On the other hand, if you become high-hearted, you feel frustrated and full of complaints because of how you judge yourself. Ultimately, the people around you begin to dislike you for being that way. With just the people around you, it may be okay with them because they don't see you every day. However, if you are that way while living with your family, then things will only get worse. If a husband's heart is high, then the wife has to live in misery. And if the wife is high-hearted, then the husband has to live in misery. And the children end up living miserably as well. If you become high-hearted, it makes all of the people around you become uncomfortable. Therefore, you must not become high-hearted. However, the nature of a person's heart is to continually become exalted more and more. Nowadays, gas or oil boilers are mostly used for heating system. But long ago, charcoal was burned during the winter for heating. That's why in the past, there would be at least 2, 3, or even as much as 10 trays of ash a day per house. When the charcoal ashes would pile up in front of the doors of each house, the cleaners would come early in the morning, bringing big carts, loading the carts with the charcoal ashes and hauling them away. In one village in Seoul, there was a very steep incline, so it was very difficult for the cleaners. At the top of that incline, when there would be snow in the winter, the cleaners would slip and fall. In the village where that steep incline was, there was a cleaner named Cho Min Kim. Because he was poor, he lived in a single room with his wife and 3 children. When he would come home after cleaning the charcoal ashes, he would be so tired that he would have aches and pains the whole night. One day, his eldest son, who was in the 6th grade, heard his father mourning all night and then saw his father woke up early in the morning once again, change clothes, and go back to work. His wife, who was standing next to him, spoke with a worried heart. "Honey, if you go out with that body of yours and it gets worse, what are you going to do? If you take one day off, your body will get better. Just take a day off today." It is because you don't know what it will happen. It is because you don't know what will happen. If I take a day off, then the ashes of the region that I am in charge will be piled too high. If the district office employee passes by and sees that, because I am not a full-time employee, but just a temp, they will fire me for not working diligently. Then, how are we going to eat? How are we going to live? I have to get up and go. If he would have taken a day off. But the father slowly put on his clothes, put on his gloves, and went outside. It was so heartbreaking for the son to see such an image of his father. The son knew very well the difficulty his father continually had to endure working for the family. That is why the way this son thought was different from other children. The son of the cleaner would use his notebooks conservatively. The son of the cleaner would use his notebook conservatively, not wasting a single page. He would also be very thankful and careful with his pencils. And wherever there were things he needed money for in school, he would not ask of his parents, but simply said that he would avoid doing that activity that is required with money. One day, while he was studying in school, his father kept coming to his mind. After class, a friend asked, "Hey, let's go to my house and play." But that son could not do that. He went home and threw his books into the room and immediately ran to the area where his father was working. From afar, he could see his father putting ashes onto the cart and pulling it up the hill. Because it was so heavy and tiring and difficult, the father could not go up straight, but rather went up in a zigzag pattern. The son ran and started pushing the cart from behind with all his strength. The father suddenly felt the cart became much lighter. Who is pushing it? He thought. But because of the tail piles of ashes, he could not see the person who was pushing. When they reached the crest of the hill and stopped the cart, he looked behind and saw that it was his son. It was his son, his own son, and he felt so thankful to him. The father then laid the cart to one side and went to the store, bought 2 large round moon pies, sat down and ate them with his son. "It is good?" his father asked. "Is it good?" "Yes, it's good." "Father, won't you have some more?" "Did you eat enough?" "I am fine. I am full because I had lunch just a little while ago." "But, Father, why don't you have some more?" "No, I am also full." "Father, I haven't had this bread treat for a long time. It's so delicious." The father would think of the son, and the son would think of the father. And although they were poor, the love flowed between their hearts. The son used to feel that it would be embarrassing if his friends at school found out that his father was a cleaner, if he were to run into them while pushing his father's cart. However, when the son saw the image of his father who would go out to work for his family, despite all his physical pain, he would help his father as soon as he finished school for the day. The father and son, whose hearts were very close, were so happy. So, we will end here for today, and we read 3 stories in the second chapter. I hope you were touched. I was really touched as well, and I hope to see you in our next reading. Until we meet again, Bye bye.